Most seller thinks that the highest offer typically is the best one. But the truth is, the highest offer may not be the safest one for you. And if you get this wrong, it could cost you thousands of dollars, or worse, your deal could get into escrow and you're spending weeks, and at the end of the day, the buyer wants to cancel and it costs you emotional damage. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how do you actually evaluate offers and what risks sellers typically miss. And lastly, how do you spot the strongest offer, not just the highest one? And at the end of the video, I'll share with you the biggest mistakes that I see sellers make every single week when they are reviewing offers. If we're just meeting, I'm Tsai, the founder for eXp Northstar and About You team. And in this channel, we break down real market strategy so you can make a confident decision rather than an emotional one. So point number one, why isn't the highest offer always the best one? Here's something that sellers don't realize. Industry data shows that 3 out of 4 offers actually has conditions or what we call contingencies, which means finance, appraisal, inspection, title, insurance, etc. Reasons for the buyers to walk away without losing anything. So when I hear, oh, they offer the most money, then I want to know under what condition. A high number on paper doesn't mean that the buyer can close. I've seen scenarios where if a property that I list at $1 million, agents will come in at 900 something, $1 million, or maybe slightly over $1 million, and all of a sudden you will see an offer come in at 1.1 or even 1.2. And this is the time you gotta kind of be careful, because there are buyers or investors or agents out there, unfortunately, they wanted to get a price high. So you look at it, you'll be like, oh, what a good price. And then they will get into escrow, because before we open escrow, seller has more power. They get to pick and choose which offer they want to work with. But after you get the offer accepted, remember the contingency that we just talked about? Buyer has the opportunity to do their inspections, to do their loan and appraisal. And if the number doesn't hit the 1.1 or the 1.2 mark that they offer, they could come back and renegotiate. Or they can come back and be like, oh yeah, we need to repair this, repair that. I've seen properties where the condition is not bad. It should only cost like $2,000 to $3,000 to do the repair request. And the buyer agent come back to ask $50,000 to $100,000 repair requests. So you can see that they're playing games. So this is why understand that the highest offer may not be the best offer. As an agent like myself, our goal is to help you evaluate everything so you can pick and choose what's best for you. At the end of the day, it's finding one that's gonna offer a good price, and meanwhile, that's gonna close. Because if they don't close, then it doesn't mean anything, and you actually waste your time, because you still have to pay for your property tax, you still have to pay for your mortgage payment. The most stressful part is that you have to go through the process again with another buyer, and it's just very emotional draining, and we don't want that to happen. Point number 2 is the contingencies. We kind of touched that earlier in the previous point, but what I wanted to say is that when it comes to contingency, we want to look at the finance and the appraisal contingency in more detail. Because when we open escrow, this is where buyers start their loan process, to start applying for a loan, and their lender will look at their document and start to do an appraisal of the property just to make sure that the buyer's not trying to fraud the bank. So is there a standard of procedure to actually do an appraisal? And this is where you gotta be able to see when you're accepting offers whether the buyer is removing their loan and appraisal contingency. Most finance offers has appraisal contingencies, which means is that if the property doesn't appraise at the offer price, the buyer can renegotiate or even cancel the deal. And this is why cash offers are so attractive, because there's no loan contingency. You don't need to worry about the buyer's work, their job, their income, their debt to income ratio, what they actually owe, or the type of program they're applying. And there's just so much more uncertainties when it comes to a loan offer. I'm not saying it's all bad, but it's just cash offer. You don't really have to worry about that. Typically, if you have a cash offer, the buyer normally don't do an appraisal. So there's definitely fewer hurdles, and that's why cash offers are so attractive. Understand when it comes to real estate transaction, because there are so many people involved, and any delays or issues can kill the momentum, or if somebody really just get emotional, the deal could fall apart. When we're reviewing offers with the seller, price is only one piece of the puzzle. There are a few things that we're looking at. Like what we talk about, price. Secondly is whether they are going cash or they are financing. The next one is their down payment, and then how much deposit they are putting in, and what kind of contingencies they are including, whether it's loan, appraisal, inspection, or anything else, like how many they are keeping and how many days they want. And lastly, how much time do they need to close On top of that, we also communicate with the agent on the other side because that's also very important. Some agent, if we know them or if they're professional, we can see their track record whatsoever, it definitely would help because we rather deal with somebody that knows what's happening rather than somebody like come in, submit an unprofessional offer and just things that we see that's really just not competitive, or they are not submitting everything that we're asking for, then that could cause issues down the road when we're actually going through the escrow process. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is that 1/3 of the offer of the transaction that was done last year was actually cash offer, because cash offer, like what we talked about earlier, it does eliminate some of the uncertainties and people value certainties. Now, one example I like to give is that if you're getting a surgery, God forbid you don't, but if you're deciding which surgeon to use, would you go with the surgeon with the higher probability of getting your surgery done properly and you walk out of that operation room alive and sound and feeling great, or going with that surgeon that seems good, sounds good, but there is a higher uncertainty of canceling or you're not walking out alive? But let me give you a real world example. This is what I see a lot in Southern California. Offer number 1, higher price, low down payment, and full contingencies, versus offer number 2, slightly lower price, but they're removing loan appraisal contingencies and shorter escrow and higher down payment. And 9 out of 10, offer number 2 is stronger than offer number 1 because it actually closes. Here's the biggest mistakes that I see sellers make all the time is that they purely just go in and look at the price only. They ignore risk, the contingencies, the buyer's strength, and sometimes even like the feeling that you're getting from the agent, whether or not if they are being honest or not. I see sellers ignore that because they get so emotionally attracted to that high price on the offer, and then they get shocked later when escrow cancels midway through escrow. So the goal isn't to always accept the highest offer out there, but it's to choose the one that's actually going to close. If this video helped you think differently about offers, hit the like and share and subscribe button. It's gonna help me reach more sellers out there who needs this information. If you're selling in Southern California and you want help breaking down offer in the right way, you will absolutely love a personal life offer strategy session with my team. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.